I stared at the gym membership card in my trembling hands, forcing the brightest fake smile I could muster, while my mother-in-law Fiona's words hung in the air like poison. Maybe now you'll finally lose that baby weight, dear. My name is Harmony, and this was the moment I decided to burn my life to the ground. It was Christmas morning at the Martin family mansion, all crystal and chrome and judgment. My 4-month-old daughter Emma slept peacefully in her carrier, unaware that her grandmother had just delivered the most elegantly wrapped insult of the season. "Open yours now, Mark," Fiona chirped, practically bouncing as she handed my husband a small box wrapped in designer paper. I watched as he revealed a gleaming Rolex, probably worth more than my old car. "Mum, this is..." "Wow!" Mark's eyes lit up as he slipped it on his wrist. "You shouldn't have." "Nonsense! My successful son deserves the best." Fiona beamed, then glanced at me. "And now both of you have something to help you track your progress." I caught Rose, my sister-in-law, wincing from across the room. Even Russell, my father-in-law, suddenly became very interested in his coffee cup. "The gym is quite exclusive," Fiona continued, examining her manicure. "They rarely offer these promotional rates. I had to pull some strings." "Thank you, Fiona." My voice came out steady, surprising even me. "It's very thoughtful." Mark squeezed my knee under the table, probably thinking it was reassuring, but all I felt was anger, not at Fiona's calculated cruelty, but at his silence. Again, "Well, you've been so concerned about your figure lately," Fiona said, sipping her mimosa. "I've noticed you wearing Mark's old sweatshirts. They're not exactly flattering, are they?" I looked down at the oversized Yale hoodie I was wearing, the one I'd grabbed at 5 a.m. after Emma's feeding, not wanting to wake Mark by searching for appropriate Christmas morning attire. "I think Harmony looks beautiful," Rose interjected suddenly. "Being a new mum is hard enough without..." "Rose, darling, pass the scones." Fiona cut her off smoothly. "The gluten-free ones. We're all watching our intake, aren't we?" I felt something snap inside me. Maybe it was sleep deprivation, maybe it was hormones, or maybe it was watching my husband admire his new watch while I clutched a discount gym membership that screamed, "Not good enough." "Actually," I heard myself say, "I should probably head home. Emma will need feeding soon." "But we haven't even had Christmas lunch," Fiona protested. "I had the chef prepare your portion specially. No butter, of course." "That's incredibly considerate." I stood up, gathering Emma's diaper bag. "Mark, are you coming?" He glanced between his mother and me, conflict written all over his face. "Maybe we could stay a bit longer. Mum went to so much trouble." "Of course." I smiled, and for the first time that day, it was genuine, because in that moment, everything became crystal clear. "I'll take an Uber." "Don't be silly." Rose stood up. "I'll drive you." In the car, Rose kept apologizing for her mother's behavior. I barely heard her. My mind was already racing ahead, forming a plan that would make today's humiliation worth every second. "You okay?" Rose asked as we pulled up to my house. "Perfect," I replied, and meant it. "Your mother just gave me exactly what I needed." "A gym membership?" Rose looked confused. "No," I said, carefully lifting Emma's carrier. "Motivation." That night, after Emma was asleep and Mark was still at his parents' house, I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The gym membership card sat next to my keyboard, like a challenge. I pulled up Google and typed, "How to build a tech startup." Then I opened my journal and wrote, "Dear Fiona, thank you for the gift. You thought you were buying me a gym membership, but what you really bought was a front row seat to your own irrelevance. Love, your soon-to-be self-made daughter-in-law." I heard Mark's key in the door and quickly closed the journal. He walked in carrying leftover Christmas pudding and wearing his new watch. "Mum says she's sorry if she upset you," he offered weakly. "You know how she is." I looked at my husband, really looked at him, and saw him clearly for the first time in years. The golden boy who'd never had to fight for anything, who'd never know what it felt like to be small. I know exactly how she is, I replied, picking up the gym membership, and I can't wait to show her exactly who I am. That night I slept better than I had in months, because sometimes rock bottom has a foundation you can build on, and Fiona had just handed me the perfect building permit. The gym was exactly what you'd expect from Fiona's exclusive recommendation, all chrome and mirrors and people who looked like they'd never eaten a carb in their lives. I stood in the lobby, clutching Emma's carrier, feeling completely out of place. "First time?" The receptionist barely glanced up from her phone. "That obvious, huh? Childcare's down the hall, $20 extra per session." She pointed vaguely to the left. "Spin class starts in 15 if you're interested." I wasn't interested, I was terrified. But I handed over my card anyway. The childcare room was surprisingly warm and welcoming, staffed by a gentle-faced woman who immediately cooed at Emma. "Oh, what a sweetheart! I'm Patricia. We're going to be best friends, aren't we, little one?" For the first time since walking in, my shoulders relaxed slightly. The spin studio, however, was another story. Dark, loud, and intimidating. I tried to slip in unnoticed, but the instructor spotted me immediately. New rider, front and centre. She was tiny, covered in tattoos with bright purple hair. "I'm Marley, and you're about to hate me for the next 45 minutes. She wasn't wrong. By the end of class, my legs felt like jelly and I was pretty sure I was dying. But something else had happened too. I'd finished. Actually finished. "Hey, new girl," Marley called as I wobbled toward the door. "Same time tomorrow." I nodded, surprising myself. In the locker room, I heard a familiar voice. "Harmony! Oh my God, is that you?" I turned to find Riley, my college roommate, looking exactly as zen as she had during our university days. "Riley, what are you doing here?" "I teach yoga upstairs." She hugged me tight. "God, it's been forever. How's the baby? How's life? Wait, are you okay?" I hadn't realized I was crying until she asked. The tears just started flowing, and suddenly I was telling her everything about Fiona, the Christmas gift, Mark's silence, all of it. "That manipulative witch," Riley muttered. "You know what? I'm free right now. Coffee." Over lattes at the cafe next door, I found myself opening up about more than just Fiona. I told Riley about my old job in UX design, about the apps I used to dream of building, about how lost I'd felt since becoming a mum. "So build them," Riley said simply. "You're still you, Harmony. Having a baby didn't erase your brain." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" She pulled out her phone. "Look at this garbage app I'm supposed to use for tracking my clients' progress. It's terrible, and don't even get me started on the postnatal wellness apps out there." Something clicked in my brain. "Wait, show me that again?" For the next hour, we brainstormed. Riley's therapy background combined with her fitness experience highlighted gaps in the market I hadn't even considered. I found myself sketching interfaces on napkins, my old design instincts kicking in. "This could actually work," I muttered, looking at our coffee-stained plans. "Of course it could work," Riley grinned. "And imagine Fiona's face when what?" A new voice cut in. Marley had appeared at our table, still in her spin gear. "Sorry, couldn't help overhearing. You're plotting revenge, aren't you?" I felt my face flush. "No, Please," Marley dropped into an empty chair. "Half my clients are revenge training. Getting back at ex-husbands, mean girls from high school, bitchy mothers-in-law. But you," she pointed at our napkin sketches, "you're thinking bigger. I like it." "It's just an idea," I started. "Ideas are where empires begin," Marley said. "And, honey, you've got that look in your eye, the one that says you're done being small." She pulled out her phone. "I've got 12,000 followers who'd kill for a decent wellness app. Just saying." I stared at her, then at Riley, then at our napkin sketches. "You really think—" "I think," Riley said carefully, that Fiona gave you a gift, all right, just not the one she intended. That evening, after putting Emma to bed, I opened my laptop again. But this time, instead of Google, I pulled up my old design software. My fingers hovered over the keyboard as doubt crept in. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Fiona. "Didn't see you at the gym today. Remember, consistency is key." I smiled and started typing code. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just getting even, it's getting ahead. As I worked, I could hear Mark downstairs on the phone with his mother, probably getting an earful about my absence at her weekly family dinner. But for the first time in months, I didn't care. I had napkin sketches, 2 unexpected allies, and a fire in my belly that no amount of Fiona's passive-aggressive emojis could extinguish. Game on, mother-in-law, game on. Darling, you look different. Fiona's perfectly manicured hand paused on my doorknob, her surprise visit catching me in my workout clothes, fresh from the gym. Not quite what I expected. Different good or different bad? I smiled, stepping aside to let her in. 3 months of training with Marley had given me more than muscle tone, it had given me armour. "Oh, you know," she waved her hand dismissively. "I just assumed you'd have given up by now. Most people do." "Coffee?" I offered, already walking to the kitchen. "Or are you still doing that cleanse you mentioned at Sunday dinner?" Fiona's eyes narrowed slightly. She wasn't used to me being this composed. "Actually, I came to talk about Mark. He seems distracted lately." "Really?" I measured coffee beans carefully. "I hadn't noticed." "Well, you wouldn't have, would you? Being so busy with your little gym project." I thought about the prototype sitting on my laptop upstairs, about the late-night coding sessions, about Riley's growing client list already testing the beta version. "Just trying to make the most of your generous gift." "Harmony." Fiona's voice took on that concerned mother-in-law tone I'd grown to hate. "Marriage requires attention. A husband needs—" "Mom," Mark's voice cut through the tension as he walked in, home early from work. "What are you doing here? Can't a mother check on her son?" Fiona rose to kiss his cheek. "You've been so distant lately. I worry." I caught Mark's quick glance at me, guilty, concerned, before he turned back to his mother. "Everything's fine, Mom. Just busy at work." "Speaking of work," Fiona brightened, "Rose mentioned you never told Harmony about your promotion. 3 months ago?" The coffee mug nearly slipped from my hand. "Promotion? Oh dear," Fiona pressed her hand to her chest. "Did I just spoil a surprise?" Mark's face went pale. "I was going to tell you—" "When?" The word came out sharper than I intended. "Between your mother's Sunday dinners and your late nights at the office?" "Harmony!" Mark stepped toward me, but I held up my hand. "No, please, tell me more about this promotion. Was it around Christmas time by any chance?" Fiona's smirk was barely concealed. "Right before, actually. That's why I got him the Rolex. To celebrate." "Mum, maybe you should go," Mark said quietly. "But we haven't even discussed the country club membership," Fiona protested. "The one you've been using for client meetings." Each word hit like a physical blow. All those nights I'd been working on my app, thinking Mark was pulling extra hours at the office. He'd been at the country club. The one his mother had apparently gifted him. "Yes, Fiona," I heard myself say calmly. "Maybe you should go." After she left, Mark and I stood in silence. The coffee maker beeped, making us both jump. "I can explain," he started. "Can you? Because I'd love to hear how you explain hiding a promotion and a country club membership from your wife." "I didn't want to stress you out. You were so focused on the baby and then this gym thing." "This gym thing?" I laughed, but there was no humour in it. "You mean the thing that's kept me sane while you've been lying to me?" "I haven't been lying." He ran his hands through his hair. "I've been protecting you." "From what? Success? Financial decisions? Being an equal partner in this marriage? That's not fair. No. What's not fair is finding out from your mother that my husband's been living a double life." double life. It's a promotion and a club membership, not an affair. The word hung between us like smoke. I thought about the browser history I'd found weeks ago. Emotional affairs at the gym. Interesting choice of words, I said quietly. Before he could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from Riley. Investor meeting confirmed for tomorrow. Don't you dare back out. I have to go, I said, grabbing my gym bag. Emma's at daycare for another hour. Maybe use that time to think about what else you're protecting me from. Where are you going? Mark called after me. To my gym thing, I replied, not looking back. In my car, I let out a shaky breath. Then another text came through, this time from Rose. Just heard what Mom did. I'm so sorry, but keep going. Whatever you're doing, it's working. She's scared. I smiled despite everything. Because Rose was right. Fiona was scared. She'd shown up unannounced, thrown Mark's secrets in my face. All to what? Remind me of my place? But I wasn't in that place anymore. I had prototype users, an investor meeting tomorrow, and a strength that had nothing to do with Marley's spin classes. I started the car and headed to the gym. Not to work out, but to meet Riley and Marley in the cafe. We had an investor pitch to perfect, and suddenly I had even more motivation to succeed. Because sometimes the best way to handle a double life is to build a new one of your own. Your prototype is impressive, Fabian said, sliding the tablet back across the coffee shop table. Especially the postnatal mental health tracking features. That's a gap in the market nobody's addressing. I tried not to fidget under his intense gaze. Fabian Newman wasn't just any investor, he was the guy who'd backed 3 successful wellness startups in the past year. And here he was, in my local coffee shop, actually taking me seriously. The interface still needs work, I admitted, but we've got 50 beta users already and the feedback is outstanding, he finished, pulling up the analytics on his phone. Your retention rate is remarkable, and your marketing strategy, partnering with fitness influencers like Marley, smart. I thought about Marley's latest Instagram post, showcasing the app's progress tracking features to her, now 15,000 followers. The comment section had exploded with pre-launch sign-up requests. So, Fabian leaned forward, what's your ask? I named the figure we'd discussed with Riley, enough for proper development, marketing, and 6 months of runway. Fabian didn't flinch. Done, he said simply, under one condition, which is full confidentiality until launch. No public announcements, no social media hints, nothing. I've seen too many good ideas get copied before they hit the market. I thought about Fiona, about Mark, about the satisfaction of surprising them all. That won't be a problem. Perfect. He pulled out his phone again. My lawyer will send over the paperwork tonight. We should celebrate. Dinner? The invitation hung in the air a moment too long. I should get home. Emma's with the sitter. Of course, he smiled, but something flickered in his eyes. Another time, perhaps. That evening I walked into another of Fiona's mandatory family dinners, the signed investment contract burning a hole in my bag. Mark was already there, deep in conversation with his mother. Harmony, Fiona's voice carried across the room. We were just discussing Mark's new project at work, the one that's keeping him so busy. I caught Rose's eye across the room. She gave me a subtle headshake, warning or sympathy, I couldn't tell. Actually, Mark stood up, glass in hand. I wanted to announce something. He smiled at his mother. The project's been approved. Full funding. I'll be leading the new division. The room erupted in congratulations. Fiona practically glowed with pride. That's wonderful news, darling, she beamed. See, Harmony, while you've been off at your little gym sessions, Mark's been building something real. I felt Riley's voice in my head. Let them underestimate you. It's your secret weapon. How exciting, I smiled, sipping my water. When did you find out? Just today, Mark replied. I wanted to tell you first, but I insisted he share it with the whole family, Fiona interrupted. We're all so invested in his success. My phone buzzed. An email from Fabian's lawyer. Documents processed, funds transferred. Speaking of investment, Rose spoke up suddenly. How's the gym going, Harmony? Mum's gift seems to be paying off. Fiona's smile tightened. Yes, you do look different, though perhaps it's time to focus on your family now. These fitness obsessions can become quite destructive. Actually, I set down my glass, the gym has been incredibly constructive. Right, Mark? He shifted uncomfortably. Honey, maybe we should what? I turned to face him fully. Discuss how constructive it's been? Or would you rather discuss that at the country club? The room went quiet. I think, Fiona said carefully, that some things are better discussed privately, like promotions. I stood up. Or investment rounds. Investment rounds? Mark's head snapped up. What are you talking about? My phone buzzed again. A message from Fabian. Dinner offer still stands. Professional, of course. Unless... I deleted it without responding. Nothing, I smiled at my mother-in-law. Just my little gym thing, remember? Later that night, Mark tried to apologise again. I should have told you about the promotion right away, and the club membership. You seemed so focused on your own thing. My own thing, I repeated, thinking of the contract in my bag, of Fabian's dinner invitation, of all the secrets swirling around us. Funny how that works, isn't it? What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm tired, Mark. Emma will be up in a few hours. Go to bed. Instead of sleeping, I pulled out my laptop and opened the prototype. The interface glowed in the dark, full of possibility and promise, and danger, because now I had funding, a launch timeline, and an investor who might want more than equity. I had a husband keeping secrets and a mother-in-law weaving webs. But most importantly, I had power, real power, the kind that couldn't be given or taken away by a Fiona-approved gym membership, the kind that could change everything. Your mother's in the hospital, Mark announced, bursting into my home office where I'd been reviewing user feedback. We need to go, now. I looked up from my laptop where Marley's latest promotional video was paused mid-frame. What happened? She collapsed at her garden club meeting. Dad says she's asking for me. Of course she was. You go, I'll stay with Emma. Harmony, Mark's voice took on that pleading tone I'd grown to hate. She's family. 2 hours later, I stood in the hospital corridor, watching Fiona hold court from her bed. She looked remarkably well for someone who'd supposedly collapsed. The doctors say it's exhaustion, she sighed dramatically, clutching Mark's hand. I've been so worried about everything. Her eyes flicked to me, then back to Mark. The message was clear. I was part of everything. Mom, you need to take it easy, Mark insisted. I know, darling, but with the garden party coming up... She pressed a hand to her forehead. I simply can't cancel. The committee depends on me. I'll help, Rose offered from the corner. We can scale it back. Scale back? Fiona looked horrified. It's the social event of the season. Everyone who's anyone will be there. Mark's colleagues, their wives. My phone buzzed. A text from Fabian. Apps ready for beta launch. Dinner meeting tomorrow to discuss the strategy. Harmony could help, Mark suggested, making me look up sharply. She's been available lately. I felt my jaw clench. Available. Like I hadn't been working 60-hour weeks between the app, Emma, and maintaining appearances. Oh, I don't know, Fiona demurred. These events require a certain touch, though I suppose she could help with the heavy lifting. My phone buzzed again. Riley this time. User testimonials are insane. We're going viral in closed beta. Actually, I smiled, pocketing my phone, I'd love to help. I have some ideas for the party. Fiona's eyes narrowed. The garden party has run the same way for 15 years. Maybe it's time for something new. I met her gaze steadily. Everything evolves, right? Later, in the hospital cafeteria, Rose cornered me by the coffee machine. She's faking, you know. The collapse? Please, Rose rolled her eyes. She does this whenever she feels control slipping. But something's different this time. She's actually scared. I stirred my coffee slowly. Of what? You tell me. Rose leaned closer. The gym membership was supposed to humiliate you. Instead, you're glowing. Mark's distracted. And now you're offering to help with her precious garden party? Just being a good daughter-in-law. Bullshit. Rose grinned. You're planning something. And whatever it is, I want in. Before I could respond, my phone lit up with a notification. TechCrunch wanted an interview about the app's innovative approach to postnatal wellness. Sorry, I declined the call. Just gym stuff. Right, Rose's eyes sparkled. The gym membership that launched 1,000 ships. Back in Fiona's room, Mark was still playing the devoted son. I can work from home this week, help with the party preparations. Don't be silly, Fiona patted his hand. Your career is too important. Harmony can handle the grunt work. It's not like she has other commitments. My phone buzzed again. Fabian, can't keep delaying these meetings. We need to discuss the launch strategy. I thought about the garden party, about Fiona's carefully curated guest list of Mark's colleagues and their wives, about timing and karma and perfect moments. You're right, Fiona, I said sweetly. I'd be happy to take charge of the party preparations. In fact, I have some contacts who might help make it extra special. Contacts? Fiona's eyebrow arched. From the gym. Mark shifted uncomfortably. Honey, maybe we should stick to Mom's usual vendors. Trust me, I smiled, thinking of Marley's influencer network, of Riley's wellness community, of Fabian's tech circle. This will be a garden party no one forgets. That night, after Mark fell asleep, I sent 3 texts. To Fabian, garden party, 2 weeks, perfect launch venue. You in? To Riley, time to go public, bring your A-list clients. To Marley, ready to turn a stuffy garden party into a viral moment. The responses came quickly. Brilliant strategy. I'm in. Hell yes, my girls are ready. OMG, yes, queen, time to blow some minds. I looked at my sleeping husband, thought of his mother plotting in her hospital bed, and felt a calm certainty settle over me. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. It's served on a perfectly manicured lawn in front of everyone who ever doubted you. What do you mean you've invited tech journalists? Mark paced our bedroom as I laid out my outfit for tomorrow's garden party. This is my mother's event, not a product launch. Why can't it be both? I smoothed the designer dress I'd bought with my first investor check. Your colleagues will be there anyway, and Mum's always talking about modernising the garden club. Don't call her Mum right now, he snapped, not when you're planning to hijack her party. Hijack? I turned to face him. Like how she hijacked our Christmas, or how you hijacked our marriage with all your secrets. Mark's face flushed. That's different. How? Because it's okay when you and Fiona do it. You're acting crazy. He ran his hands through his hair. This revenge thing has gone too far. Revenge? I laughed. This isn't revenge, Mark. This is business. My phone buzzed. Fabian, press confirmed. TechCrunch, Forbes, Business Insider. Tomorrow will be epic. What business? Mark grabbed my phone. What are you and this Fabian guy planning? I snatched it back. The business I've been building while you've been hiding promotions and playing country club husband. Is that what this is about? The promotion? Fine, I'm sorry. But don't destroy my mother's event over it. Your mother's event, Rose's voice came from the doorway. The one she's using to show off her son's success to all his colleagues. While his wife serves drinks and looks pretty, Mark spun around. Rose, stay out of this. No. She stepped into the room. I found something you need to see. She pulled out her phone and played a video, Fiona and her garden club friends, recorded secretly at their last meeting. Poor Mark, Fiona's voice dripped with false sympathy. She's clearly having some sort of breakdown, all this gym obsession, these mysterious meetings. I've hired a private investigator. just to be safe. The phone nearly slipped from my hand. "You knew about this?" I asked Rose. She nodded. "Found out yesterday. Mum's been having you watched for weeks." Mark's face had gone pale. "She wouldn't—" "She did," Rose cut him off. "And that's not all. Show him the trust document, Harmony." "What trust document?" Mark looked between us. I pulled out the letter I'd found in Fiona's drawer. "The one that cuts you off if you ever divorce me. Apparently I'm a liability to the family name." Mark sank onto the bed, reading. His hands shook slightly. "This can't be real." "Oh, it's real," Rose said. "Just like the calls she's been making to your boss, making sure he knows how unstable your home life is, how you might need support in making the right decisions." "Stop," Mark whispered. "No, you stop," I said quietly. "Stop defending her. Stop choosing her. Stop pretending this is about a garden party." My phone buzzed again. "Riley, beta users confirmed for tomorrow's demo. We're trending on wellness Twitter already." "What demo?" Mark looked up. "Harmony, what have you done?" "What you wouldn't let me do," I replied. "I built something real, and tomorrow everyone's going to see it." "Including Mom," Rose added with a grim smile. "You can't." Mark stood up. "I forbid it." The room went silent. "You forbid it?" I stepped closer. "Like your mother forbids change? Like she forbids me from being more than your accessory? That's not what I—" "Save it." I turned back to my outfit. "Tomorrow's happening. You can either stand with me or with her. But choose carefully, because this time I won't be the only one watching." After Mark stormed out, Rose helped me finish laying out everything for tomorrow. "You know she'll try to stop you," she warned. "Let her try." I pulled up the app's launch schedule on my tablet. Everything's in place. Marley's influencers are ready. Riley's clients are prepped. Fabian's press contacts are confirmed. "And the garden club ladies?" I smiled. "They've all downloaded the beta. Funny how quickly Fiona's friends switch loyalty when offered exclusive access to the next big thing." Rose hugged me tight. "Give her hell." Later that night, I stood in front of my mirror, practicing my pitch one last time. My phone lit up with a final text from Fabian. "Car will pick you up at 9. Ready to shake up the suburbs?" I looked at my reflection, at the woman who'd emerged from Fiona's carefully crafted humiliation, the woman who'd turned a gym membership into an empire. "Ready," I texted back, because tomorrow wasn't just about revenge. It was about every woman who'd ever been told to be smaller, quieter, more convenient. And I was done being convenient. Fiona's garden was a sea of designer dresses and strategic smiles when I arrived. The moment I stepped out of Fabian's car, I felt the whispers start. "Is that Harmony? Mark's wife? Did she get work done? Who's that man with her?" Fabian offered his arm with a knowing smile. "Shall we give them something to really talk about?" Marley's team was already in position, their phones capturing every reaction. Riley stood by the demonstration area we'd set up. Her most influential clients gathered around her like a wellness army. "Harmony," Fiona's voice cut through the murmurs. "You're late, and what is all this equipment?" She stood at the top of the garden steps, looking perfectly recovered from her hospital stay. Her eyes narrowed at Fabian's hand on my arm. "Just a small presentation," I smiled. "For the garden club's modernization initiative. You know, the one you mentioned in the hospital?" "I don't recall." "Harmony." One of Fiona's friends rushed over, phone in hand. "Is it true? Are you the founder of MomFit? My daughter's been raving about the beta version." Fiona's face went blank. "The what?" "Ladies and gentlemen," Fabian's voice carried across the garden, "if I could have your attention, please." The crowd turned, including several tech journalists I recognized from their profile pictures. Mark stood frozen by the champagne fountain, his boss watching with interest. "Today," I stepped forward, "we're not just celebrating a garden party. We're celebrating a revolution in postnatal wellness technology." Marley hit play on the promo video. The garden's screens lit up with testimonials, statistics, and transformation stories. I caught glimpses of familiar faces, Riley's clients, Marley's followers, even some of Fiona's garden club friends. 6 months ago, I continued, I received a gift, a gym membership meant to remind me of my place. Fiona's face went pale. Instead, it reminded me of my power. And with the help of some incredible partners, I nodded to Riley and Marley, we built something extraordinary. The TechCrunch reporter was typing furiously on her phone. Mark's boss had moved closer, his expression intrigued. MomFit isn't just an app, I demonstrated the interface on the main screen. It's a community, a support system, a revolution in how we think about postpartum wellness. And, Fabian stepped forward, as lead investor, I'm proud to announce our first round of funding, $20 million. The garden erupted in gasps and applause. I saw Mark's boss clap him on the shoulder, saying something that made Mark's eyes go wide. This is outrageous, Fiona hissed, grabbing my arm. You've turned my garden party into a circus. No, I removed her hand gently. I've turned your insult into an empire. Funny how that works. Mark will never... Never what? Rose appeared beside us. Support his wife's success, like you supported Mom when she wanted to start her interior design business 30 years ago. Fiona stepped back like she'd been slapped. How did you... Dad told me, Rose said quietly, about how you crushed her dreams because they didn't fit your image of a proper wife. Well, times have changed, Mom. The party had transformed around us. Journalists were interviewing Riley about the mental health components. Marley's team was filming user testimonials. Even Fiona's garden club friends were clustered around the demo stations, excitedly exploring the app. Mrs. Martin, Mark's boss approached. Incredible presentation. We've been looking to expand our wellness technology division. Perhaps we could discuss a potential partnership. Before Fiona could respond, he turned to me. I meant the other Mrs. Martin, of course. I saw Mark watching us, his expression unreadable. The Rolex on his wrist caught the sunlight. I'd love to discuss it, I smiled. Though I should mention we've already had interest from your competitors. Harmony, Mark finally spoke, stepping forward. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have listened? I asked quietly. Or would you have forbidden that too? The garden had gone quiet, watching our exchange. Fiona stood frozen, her perfect party shattered around her. I think, Fabian interjected smoothly, we should let the happy couple discuss this privately. Meanwhile, who'd like to hear about our international expansion plans? As the crowd followed Fabian, I turned to Mark. Your mother's not the only one who can orchestrate a perfect garden party moment. No, he said slowly. She's just the only one who does it out of spite. Spite? I laughed. This isn't spite, Mark. This is success, the kind that can't be given or taken away with a Christmas gift. I walked away to join Riley and Marley, leaving Mark standing between his mother's crumbling kingdom and his wife's rising one. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just success, it's success they have to watch, record and report about in tomorrow's business section. We need to talk. Mark stood in the doorway of my new office, watching as I packed my desk belongings. The downtown view behind him was a far cry from our suburban home office. About what? I continued sorting files. The partnership offer from your company, the divorce papers, or the fact that your mother's garden club just voted her out as president. All of it. He stepped inside, closing the door. I've been thinking about what Rose said, about Mom crushing dreams that didn't fit her image. I set down the files. And I realised I've been doing the same thing, not just to you, but to myself. My phone buzzed. Fabian again. Lisbon Tech Conference keynote spot confirmed. Say yes. I quit my job, Mark said suddenly. That made me look up. What? Turns out watching your wife launch a multi-million-dollar startup makes you question your own choices. He smiled weakly. Did you know I used to want to be a teacher? No, I realised. I didn't. Neither did Mom. Dad wanted to fund my teaching degree, but she, he trailed off, forbade it. Something like that. He picked up one of the framed photos from my desk. Emma at the gym daycare, surrounded by Riley's yoga mums. I don't want Emma growing up thinking she needs anyone's permission to be extraordinary. She won't, I said firmly. But that doesn't fix us. I know. He pulled out an envelope. That's why I brought these. I tensed, expecting divorce papers. Instead, I found airline tickets. Family therapy, he explained. In California. Away from Mom, away from the company, away from everything. Just us figuring out if there's anything left to save. My phone buzzed again. Riley. Fiona just signed up for a premium membership under a fake name. Should I approve it? I laughed, despite myself. Your mother's spying on my app now. Actually, Rose poked her head in, she's trying to figure out how to pitch her own wellness program. Something about traditional values meeting modern technology. Of course she is. I shook my head. How did you get past reception? Please, Rose scoffed. I'm your new HR director, remember? Speaking of which, Fabian's waiting in the conference room. Something about Lisbon? Mark's face tightened at Fabian's name. I should go. Wait, I grabbed his arm. Come to the meeting. Why? Because before we decide anything about us, I want you to see me. Really see me. Not as your wife, not as Emma's mum, but as someone who built something real. The conference room was packed. Fabian stood at the head of the table, but stepped aside when we entered. Perfect timing, he smiled. We were just discussing the international launch. Harmony, would you like to present the numbers? I felt Mark watching as I took control of the room, as investors leaned forward in their seats, as my team, my real team, nodded along with each milestone and projection. Questions? I finished, catching Mark's eye. Just one, he said quietly. Do you have room for a teacher on your wellness advisory board? The room went silent. What did you have in mind? Fabian asked, curious. Educational content for new mothers, support systems for working parents, the things I wanted to teach before I let someone else choose my path. I felt something shift in my chest. Not forgiveness, not yet, but possibility. I'll think about it, I said. After California. Later, as I finished packing my office, Rose helped me carry boxes to my car. Mum sent me to spy, you know, she admitted. Asked me to keep tabs on your company from the inside. I know, but here's the thing, she continued. Watching you build this, watching you refuse to be small, it made me realise something. What's that? That maybe the real family business isn't Dad's company or Mom's social empire. Maybe it's what you built from that stupid gym membership. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Fiona. Congratulations, I didn't know you had it in you. Perhaps we could discuss a collaboration. I showed Rose the message. Well, she asked, will you? I thought about Mark's tickets to California, about Emma's future, about the long game of karma and consequences. Tell her I'm busy, I replied, but she's welcome to book a consultation through the app. Premium members that get priority scheduling. Rose grinned. You know she'll actually do it. I know. I picked up the last box, the one with the gym membership card still inside. And when she does, I'll treat her exactly like any other client looking to transform their life. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just success or karma or even forgiveness. Sometimes it's simply becoming so undeniably powerful that they have no choice but to see you, all of you, finally.